guys, welcome back to Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me, sharing a dream or two. Okay, so I had this dream. Well, I've had a lot of dreams, but this one last night I think I need to share with you because this is important. It solidifies why we need to pay attention to our dreams because they do speak to us regardless of what you think. Eventually when you get to learn your symbols and your guides and what they represent, the quicker that you're able to take and associate those things metaphorically with what makes sense to you, with what you're going through, eventually it'll all come into play and it'll all intertwine itself and it'll all make sense. Last night just happened to be one of those dreams, and it gave me symbols, or rather numbers, that I needed to pay attention to. And I'll tell you, this was, it resonated with my soul. That's how I know it's right. So, okay, so let's get to it. So, for the past week, my husband and I have been wearing these lovely rings. These rings, they measure all of your, your vitals, your heart rate, your stress, your activity, even your sleep, which I love. Because you hardly ever come across sleep apps that actually do what they say they're going to do, or that you don't have trouble with. So for me, like, if I wear anything that's going to measure my sleep, it's very difficult for me because the bands never stay on, so I never get true readings. However, with this ring, let me tell you, for the past week that I've worn it, my vitals have been all messed up, and the reason being is because for the past week, this ring has been showing that I have not been getting any sleep. Literally no sleep. In a week time, if you do 8 hours a day, you technically should have 56 hours of sleep. Well, this past week, I've had 20. So that tells you I'm not sleeping. Not only is that good, bad, more bad physically in this level because you become exhausted. Cognitively, you start to decline. There's just all kinds of physical impairments that it starts having on you. For me, my body, though, seems to be like, well, we didn't get sleep. That's because we were off playing, and we literally were playing in that field. But at the same time, I also need to learn that balance. Because while it's nice to always go play and always be in dream realm, my body does need rest at some point so that I can continue at an optimum level here. That said, so this ring for the past week has been like stressing my husband out. It's kind of stressed me out a bit too, because now I'm seeing like, I don't get any sleep. No wonder I'm exhausted during the day. So it's made us pay more attention. So my husband come up with this great idea. And he said to me, and it made so much sense. Most people, they get to that point of trying to open that door to go play in dreamland. They get to that point where they are starting to embark on that journey. So they want all kinds of things that will help them get there. In my case, because I have been dreaming all my life, it is second nature for me. The moment I close my eyes, I am almost instantly there and gone. I have taken years of, it has to be at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 years now, of the Hemisync. So Hemisync, if you don't know what that is where you kind of split your brain to be, being able to rest and dream and, doing it both. And you think I'd be a little bit more proficient at it, right? So that I can rest to be physically optimal here. Sometimes that's not the case the moment I think of dreamland, because you just get too excited, as is the case with me. But doing this Hemisync program, it has allowed me to be able to split and do that, should I choose to. So I had this dream last night, and he suggested after 7 days of no sleep. He says, maybe what you should do is think of a door. A door, that has a symbol on it so that no, I'm not going to go through the door to go play in Dreamland. I'm going to stay here and rest. Great idea. And I was super excited to actually try that. And so last night I'm sitting there and we're doing our nightly routine. We're winding down. We're taking a moment. We're listening to music. You read, then you sit and you meditate, and then, you fall into la la land, right? So as I'm sitting there, my eyes are closed and I'm enjoying the now, that 5 minutes that we all need to take for ourselves. I'm imagining the doors, and I'm like, okay, one of them will have a symbol on it, and I will know not to go to that one. Okay, well, I kind of messed up the interpretation. When I went into Dreamland, okay, there were doors. It did not disappoint. There were doors upon doors upon doors, and I was super excited. And my first initial active self saw the doors and was so excited, it didn't even stop to ponder. It went. And my observer self stayed back and was like, no, I'm here to rest. Okay, they can go have a dream. I'm going to rest. Now, I got to tell you, this is where the Hemoscene comes in. Because off in the distance, I knew what my active self was doing. I could barely see, okay, what they were doing in the dream. I know the dream, but I can only recall just, visuals, occasionals. But my observing self, stayed back behind so that I could rest, which I got to tell you, it actually worked. I actually did get some sleep, more than I've gotten any other night of the whole week. I actually got like 5 hours, so I was really excited about that. But it was broken sleep, and I'll tell you why. Because I got up, I went to the bathroom, and I come back, and I go back in. But at this point in time, now the doors are there, and my body, my mind, my whatever soul said, oh, well, you rested enough. Okay, now mind you, I didn't even go to bed till 10, so it was only like 3 hours of sleep, because it was 1:10 when I woke up. So it was like 3 hours when I woke up. But my observing self said, oh, great, you rested, now we can go play. And I didn't even hesitate, I just went. Okay? But I'm glad that I did, because when I went, I had this dream. Now, let me tell you how this dream plays out, okay? So I wake up and I come to, and I'm greeted by it's 2 women. One who is a homemaker, one that is a homemaker that is in the process of going to have to get a job to make their family move forward. Okay, so I'm greeted by both of them, which was confusing because I hadn't seen them in years. And they said, we're getting the house ready and the kids ready for the sitter to come through. Apparently she was going to take over while we went out and worked. And ironically, the other female that came through to watch the kids was a person who wanted to be a homemaker, but had to be the breadwinner to go out and get the job, because she was the only one that she could rely on, or that she had just gotten divorced or something. But now she was the breadwinner, not the homemaker. So there's three things there with homemaker that I know exactly why I dreamt of that. Metaphorically, I know exactly what that meant. But what was more important was this. When I got in, there was yet another door. The door had a number on it, okay? And it was 32845. Okay. It was big, it was bold, it was very noticeable, it was very in your face. Okay, so that number on that door, I couldn't help but pay attention because it was that stand outish, if you will. Excuse me. So then, as we go through the dream, I'm getting the bags ready. The other lady had gotten a bag full of chocolates ready for, it turns out to be my sister. My sister was the one that was coming through to watch the kids. But I looked in her bag and I looked at my bag because Sam, my friend, made me up a bag too because she knows that I love chocolates. I looked at my bag, I looked at my sister's bag, and I was like, oh, she got more than me. She got better sweets. Why'd you do that, Sam? And Sam says, because she's watching the kids. And I said, well, I'm going to take some. And she went like that, right? But it was funny. It was meant to be a joke. Whatever. But I was going to come back and I was going to get some of those sweets from my sister's bag. In the end, I didn't because, well, I was whisked away. But anyways, the important thing is this number. This number started popping up through the dream. Okay, no matter what I was doing, it was like one of those billboards that stand out and you can't unsee it. So this number just played throughout my whole dream. 32845, 32845, 32845. So upon waking, what's the first thing I remember? 32845. And then the dreams start coming. Okay, so I'm like, oh, so I'm writing everything down. What's this number mean? Let me tell you. Amazing. When I'm done with my dream, I sit there and I write it down. I stop for a moment and then I contemplate. And where I go to contemplate is always the outside, whether it be cold, warm, hot, I don't care. I go out and I chill with the universe and I think about my dream. Well, as I empty, all I do is put that number in my mind. And what comes up for me was gematria. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go punch it in. So I did. And let me tell you why it's so important for you to pay attention to your dreams and your numbers. Because when I punched in 32845, of course nothing comes up because gematria is about numbers, not about, or it's about letters being converted and not numbers. So then I spell it out. THREE, TWO, on and on and on. And what came up for me when I spelled it out just blew me away. Okay? And I'm going to tell you some of the meanings, and this is why it's kind of important for you to pay attention. All right, so some of the meanings, and the last one is just going to blow you. Well, it blew me anyways, because it resonated. Okay, so some of the translations of that number. Okay, on the wings of imagination, we will fly. What do you think dreamland is? Going to Mars requires ingenuity and perseverance. I have to obviously stick with this if it's going to work. I got to learn to close my doors. I got to learn to choose when I'm going to go. Even though it's just so, that's going to be very difficult for me. Because, well, it's going to be difficult for most people to open the door to get in. It's very difficult for me to close that door and not choose to go. Because I know what's out there. Even my husband said, you want to spend more time out there than you do in this room. I mean, can you blame me? And just joking. That's not true. I tried to assure him that's not true. But it's so much more fun up there. Anyways, continuing on with some of the meanings of that number. Her hands hold the spindle that spins the wool. Do we not hold the spindle that spins the wool in our own lives? Yes, we do. The only enemy is your unconscious. That's so true. If we could get out of the 6 inches that are up here, boy, the places we could go. I feel like Dr. Seuss. Okay. This one got me. Emotional, physical, mental, spiritual draining as well. And that makes sense if I'm not able to get proper rest, as the ring indicated. Okay, and this last one just, it blew me away to the point where if I think about this too long, I'll start crying. And we don't want to do that. But this one struck my soul. If it is your calling, it will keep calling you. A little heavy there. So I'm telling you, folks, it's really important to pay attention to your dreams. If you have a calling and it's calling you, it's going to keep calling you until you pay attention. So, folks, I don't know about you, but dreaming is where it's at. So, I don't know. It can only further benefit you in this lifetime. I'm pretty convinced of it at this point. Now, if I could just learn to handle some doors, we might be all right. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining me for Daily Dreamer. Till next dream, thanks.